Alrighty, boys and girls, just getting the stream set up. Do be sure to share the link. Make sure that others can see today's live stream. Got some juicy tidbits to share with you, obviously, as per usual. Everything that we're talking about in today's live stream has links available in the description of this video. So, yeah, be generous with the share button. And if you're lurking, hit that subscribe, make the button explode, and then click the bell icon so that you're notified when new media comes out. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's be sure that we are on our best behavior. Do be sure that you are keeping the language clean. I see Corporal Crypto in the chat, see some Goblin Loser, Greg Moravik, and T-Bone Gaming already, guys. It looks like we are live. Welcome back to another edition of the Mining Market Signal, or Mind Your Biz Live, whatever you want to call it. This show, of course, is a living show. It's a breathing entity. It is going to change over time. Several others have started after we did a live stream in the mornings, mirroring what we've been doing with the market talk for months now. And that's okay, guys. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So to any other GPU mining content creators who are starting to do this as well, I get it. I get it. I looked at the analytics and also saw that there would be a huge boost for doing this in the mornings. So can't fault you for doing what I already proved works. All right, guys, let's take a quick look at our fear and greed index. We're gonna jump straight into the content, keep things moving fast this morning. Again, do be aware that your chat will be on screen, so try to keep it PG-13 at the most, right? So definitely appreciate that. T-Bone says, I'll behave, no F words. Fear and greed index is currently 24. We are now at that point where it's been a full month of nearly entirely fear. But if we go back to the 3-month chart here, just over time, guys, it wasn't that long ago that we were riding high on the euphoria. And you remember, Uncle Seth done told you. I warned you, right? When we were really, really way up high in the heights of euphoria, that we needed to temper that just a little bit. I view this as a counter indicator. Let me throw that red screen at you. This is not legal financial business or investing advice, but in my opinion, these are counter indicators. When other people are feeling fearful, we should be making plans. When other people are feeling greedy, we should be making plans. We should not just go along with whatever the market is saying, though, in terms of its sentiment. That's how we get caught up into making really, really bad mistakes. So throwing it out there. All right. So we got a couple of comments coming in from some Goblin Loser. I don't know. Really appreciate that you're bringing up the Senate hearing on Bitcoin, rather on energy consumption as it relates to blockchain. We do have some news related to that. What we're not going to do is restream what they have. I much prefer when these things are happening to wait till they're done, take a look at it, and then as opposed to it being like a live color commentary thing, I think what I'm going to be doing moving forward is just wait, let the dust settle, let it percolate a little bit after I've been able to watch it or read it or whatever it is I'm going to do, and then get my honest feelings on the matter recorded and then publish that after the fact. I hope that's okay, guys. That's going to be my plan for the Senate hearing today. But we already do have some stuff that's coming out of that Senate hearing that we can cover in the news cycle. So I'm going to cover some of that. Bernie jumps into the chat and says, buy Flux or mine Flux. Not financial advice, though. LOL. Hilarious, man. Awesome. Corporal Crypto reminding us that Flux has got a big move today. Can't wait to take a look at that. So yeah, let's take a look at our charts. So first off, guys, I'm over on TradingView. Prepare your eyeballs. Ooh, laser eyes. What I'm going to do is quickly move us into dark mode. Yeah, it kind of lost my settings there. Kept me logged in, but there we go. We'll refresh our chart over here. We're going to start things off with the Bitcoin chart. Very, very spicy hot take that we've been taking a look at for weeks now. And all right, chart, you can reload our chopsticks any day now. All right. So we're still kind of bouncing down along this top line of the descending triangle, but we are kind of correcting. Maybe we will see a bit of a rejection of that support line there, or a bit of a rejection of this trend line, and then find support at 40K. I mean, I sincerely hope that's the case, right? I don't know if that's definitely going to be the case, guys. You know, I don't offer technical analysis on the show. We look at a couple of indicators because they're generally useful, but, you know, I'm not one of those guys who's going to like live and die by technical analysis. I think that's a mistake. Fundamental analysis is what brought us gems like Flux years ago. It's what brought us gems like Loki, which then turned into Oxen years ago. It's what brought us Raptorium before it rebased. And then for those of us who were paying attention, right, the interview that I did with Big Piggy, long before it became a household name because of CPU mining, right, if we paid attention to those fundamental analysis plays of mineable cryptocurrencies, then we would know, right? And the interview that I did with the Ravencoin team and kind of seeing the roadmap and seeing how it's cool, but it might not expand to the extent of growing in service and growing in value. Again, we maybe could have inferred that Ravencoin also, based on fundamental analysis, was not necessarily going to trade much higher, was not necessarily going to break out of its previous all-time high. So I'm a much bigger fan of that, as you guys know. So, all right. Thanks for that. Corporal Crypto says dark mode for the win. I agree, man. Seriously. If y'all aren't using dark mode, what are you even doing with your lives? What are you even doing with your eyes? I'm just saying, man, I'm getting old. I don't want to have to wear those like gunners or, you know, specially coated glasses all the time. I'm already at the point where I might have to get like, you know, 1.25x readers. Seriously. You hate to see it, but we live our lives on screens these days. I don't know. Maybe we need higher resolution, higher refresh rate screens. Maybe I should just start buying gamer gear doing that. Oh, also, if you're wondering about this shirt, guys, this is from Lunar Digital Assets. It's a limited edition. It was given to me by the team, and I've talked about this before. It's totally public info on my LinkedIn. But this is my day job. I work for this company. Just want that to be very, very clear. That's why I don't often cover some of the projects that are clients of this company. I feel like it would be maybe a little bit of a conflict of interest if I did that, like, you know, on the sly, on the down low. So sometimes I worry a bit about that. I want to make sure that the lines are very, very clear for the audience and that you guys know these live streams are for you, right? These are community oriented media. This is about uplifting the mining community that was so generous to me. Right, when I was just doing a couple of videos on YouTube and submitting like spreadsheets and stuff that people liked. So this is a public service that I do in favor of GPU mining, proof of work mining. Guys, I still have strong belief in proof of work as it relates to blockchain consensus. So this is meant to be for the community. But just wanted to make it very, very clear. I do have a day job too, right? Like that is a thing. So just so you're aware, if you're okay with it, I hope I'm okay with it too. All right. Jump back into the chart here, though, guys. We still have this descending triangle. I'm not convinced that we're out of the woods yet. We did have kind of a couple of bounces down so far. So, I mean, it's possible we can maybe see that rejection from 40K, but still bounce down. Everybody who's saying, nope, up only. I'm not convinced, guys. I'm not convinced. And I just don't know that there's any rule that says we have to live above 40K. And also just want to give a big shout out to CTO Larson, phenomenal content creator, phenomenal individual in the space who's making a lot of really great media and a lot of really great predictions and a lot of really great calls. So while on this channel, we were interviewing both of the Haven network and the Haven protocol developer teams, he's covered them, right, from a different perspective and added so much value there. And he's the person who I got the basic macro ranges here from his chart. But then I went ahead and added some literal color commentary to them and kind of showing what my strategy is as far as purchasing intent, right? Like down in green, it's a go. Yellow, not sure, but it might also mean go faster. Maybe this is a time to accumulate before we do see a leg up. But I'm like very undecided now that we're here playing with the 40K level. I mean, if it breaks down to the downside, is it definitely going to like plummet down to 30K? Man, I don't know. A bunch of people like claim that's going to be the case, but I think we're in an extremely uncertain time as far as that goes. Anyway, fundamental analysis, not going to try to bore you guys with all kinds of additional waves and other indicators. The moving average convergence divergence shows us that we're currently in a bullish divergence, though it's kind of flatlining, a little histogram there. It's not like really diverging a lot. See that? Those lines are very, very close. So who knows? We could totally cross over and have a bearish divergence again and break downward to the downside. So I'm not going to make any predictions there, but let's talk about the news cycle. What is influencing people's feelings in the markets right now? Why are people feeling fearful? Why are people feeling greedy? Why is the market doing what it's doing? I don't know, man. Why does anyone do anything? It's hard to even say anymore in a post-lockdown world. But I think in part it's because of the news. So let's take a look at currently on Bitcoin Magazine. Jack Dorsey and Saylor are speaking at an upcoming conference. Apparently, they're going to be keynote speakers at a massive Bitcoin conference. So there you go, World 2022. So this is going to be more of a closed door event. Really, if you have to ask what the price is to an event like this, what the price of tickets are to an event like this, it's probably not for you or me. If I had to guess. But they're going to be there, right? They've got star power for this event. And, that's cool. Guys, I'm coming around. I'm very much coming to warm up to Michael Saylor and to Jack Dorsey. Is it because I think that they have a perfectly sound worldview as it relates to Web3 or DeFi? No, I don't think that they're perfect, but nobody is, right? Nobody has 100% perfect calls all the time. If you know the content creator Da Vinci, right? Jeremy Da Vinci, made some really great calls around Bitcoin in the early teens of this century, right? So 2011, right? And around that time, really great calls on YouTube urging people to buy Bitcoin, even fractions of Bitcoin, even if that's all they could do, but set aside small spending cash for Bitcoin. And it turned out to be an extremely good call. But even this guy, he's not perfect. Nobody has perfect calls. So I think it's great that these people are high profile and trying to use their influence though to onboard new users into Bitcoin. That's why I'm kind of warming up to them. Got Drinking Milk, The Deadwood, and Sam, as well as Justin Lovato in the chat. Guys, thanks for being here. Really appreciate you being here with us live. See those thumbs ups, those emoji. Thanks for being here. Your comments are now immortalized on the ledger of YouTube's servers. Who knows how long that'll last. Thank goodness we back up to Odyssey, guys. Do be sure that you're subscribed down there below. Let me throw this in reference to that. Throw this up on the screen. Do be subscribed over on Odyssey. That's always our backup. Yeah, if we ever get shut down again, I don't know. I might just tap out and be like, I'm done. F this. I don't need to be on YouTube. But we'll see. But yeah, I'm starting to warm up these two. Is it because I think their take is flawless? No, but Bitcoin does need maximalists in order to gain the market penetration across all the normie land, right? All the normie users. We do need people who just say, no, the buck stops here. We're going to start basing new economies on Bitcoin as the unit of account. And I think that's an important stance for a lot of us to take. Anytime we're doing trades with any other speculative asset, any other digital asset, I really do think we should be looking at the opportunity cost in Bitcoin terms. So when you mine a new coin or when you do a new trade in DeFi and you take a look, okay, how much would I have yielded by just holding on to Bitcoin? Did that get me more Bitcoin or less Bitcoin in the final analysis? If we wind up falling short in the Bitcoin measurement as the unit of account for our trades and for our mining, then I think we've done ourselves a disservice. That's in part why I'm so frustrated about Ravencoin. It's not that I really actually have any problem with the project itself, as much as I'm pissed off that I held a bag all the way up to over 1,400 sats or 1,600 sats, whatever its all-time high was, and then I let it slide way back below 1,000 Satoshis. It was such an incredible kick to the balls. Like, why? Seriously? Holding on to an asset that would have given me that much more Bitcoin and now not so much, right? Like, that really bothers me. The dollar amount doesn't bother me so much. It's the fact that I held on to so much of that coin and could have swapped it for Bitcoin. Even if I just like averaged out or took a little bit out for some Bitcoin, I'm bothered that I didn't for that particular asset. So I think it's important for us to be paying attention to that. And we do need to have really strong advocates for Bitcoin in order for that unit of account narrative to finally come to fruition, right? We're not going to see that happen unless we see really big names, really big faces, heads of state internationally champion Bitcoin. They're not going to do it with Ethereum, and I don't think they should, frankly. I think programmable money, the idea of programmable money is a problem when it comes to traditional monetary policy. I won't say DeFi instruments, I'll say just monetary policy. I think it's a mistake to base it on something that can be reprogrammed because it's programmable money. I think that's a huge mistake. Fiat currency used to be based on gold because the intent was it couldn't be interfered with, right? The supply couldn't be interfered with. We need hard assets. We need harder money than we have right now because the Fed is printing out of control. So guys, when you wonder like, hey, does Seth really believe in Bitcoin? Yes, I really do. That's why it's part of my logo now, guys. I really believe in it that strongly. Everything else I talk about, yeah, it's speculative. Yeah. And I give you the disclaimer heavily that it's speculative. And even some of the projects that I cover, it's through that lens, right? That Bitcoin is the cornerstone and the foundation upon which everything else in the broader blockchain and cryptocurrency and DeFi markets is based. It's all built on top of that. And any other blockchain project or any other influencer or person or commentator or net detractor that talks about Bitcoin as though it's the MySpace of crypto, it's the MySpace of blockchains, they can pound sand. Seriously, they've got a fundamental misunderstanding of how all this works. Bitcoin created an un-F-withable ledger that gives us a hard peg to an auditable supply of a very limited and scarce resource. Full stop. Proof of work is not a bug. Proof of work is not wasteful. It is a feature. It is the feature. It is what made Bitcoin un-F-withable. Prior to that point, you could double spend. The thing that got rid of the double spending problem in cryptocurrencies, because cryptocurrencies did exist before Bitcoin, was the fact that the blockchain was put together, right? Each block after the other, validated and written into the blockchain through proof of work, ensuring that there were no double spends. Proof of work is the feature. It is the innovation of Bitcoin. Anyway, guys, I'm on like a rant here at this point, I know. But just saying, guys, I think that there's definitely room for that worldview and people who say like, oh, well, Bernie's too kind. It says Seth is greater than BTC and BTC is greater than ETH because there's only one Seth. It's true. It's provably true. I'm provably scarce. But anyway, guys, I'm getting a little bit fiery because I do think that everything that we talk about on the show needs to be looked at through that lens. There's a reason that my brand looks the way it does. There's a reason that I'm very much aligned with Bitcoin and Bitcoiners, even though there may be like heated disagreements about certain specific points regarding DeFi or regarding yield or regarding custody or regarding some other aspects of owning Bitcoin or of working in a broader ecosystem that goes beyond just the unit of account and whatever and the value that currencies are based on. There is there's nuance and there's room for building on top of all of that, right? There's room for innovation. But when it comes to just like Bitcoin itself, stop trying to talk Bitcoin down. You're not going to hear it from me. I'm not going to talk Bitcoin down. That's a hard line for me. I don't know why people think it's okay. I don't know why anyone believes there's going to be like the next Bitcoin. Good luck with that. Thousands have tried. All have failed. And I think that for the foreseeable future, that trend will continue. Anyway, jumping out of this tangent, let's go back to our news cycle. I think it's really exciting that Jack Dorsey and Michael Saylor are speaking at this large conference. We do need star power in that space. We do need somebody like Elon Musk that, let's see. Oh, I've actually got to approve that comment. Sorry about that, drinking milk. Come on, show it. Well, should approve it soon. We actually do need star power from people like Elon Musk, but who are responsible in their comments, who don't say like, whoa, look at how easy it is to manipulate these markets. Oh, that's really funny, bro. Seriously. So there's a lack of regulation and regulatory clarity in this space. Cool. You can manipulate a market. That's awesome. All you've done is proven that you're a sociopath. You haven't proven that Bitcoin is fundamentally flawed. In the same way that you can prove that you're a sociopath regarding Dogecoin, which he's done. Anyway, sure. Is Elon Musk brilliant? Yes. Is he thoroughly irresponsible with his star power? Also, yes. All right, moving on. Guys, I think it's really cool that they're speaking there. Let's take a look at the rest of the news at the House hearing. So there are a couple of witnesses at the House hearing that's taking place right now. I do think this was important. This is also debuted on Cointelegraph. But they say if policymakers take a cautious approach and foster a pro-innovation environment, the rewards for consumers, investors, and all Americans are likely to be great. And I can't agree more, right? Like if we try to regulate this thing too fast in the United States, we're going to lose out big time. And we're going to lose out at the worst possible time that we can when we're creating a debasement of our currency, when we're causing inflation through money printing. It's a huge problem. So I think if regulators get too greedy right now, it'll be like a fistful of sand, right? They try to squeeze it tighter and more slips through their fingers. So hopefully we don't see that happen. But apparently there are several industry experts that are going to be in front of the House Energy and Commerce Oversight Subcommittee, and they're all offering their input. But the Thursday hearing is called Cleaning Up Cryptocurrency, the Energy Impacts of Blockchains. What do you mean cleaning up cryptocurrency? Well, what is stupid framing? First off, this is clearly part of a larger narrative that's trying to focus on climate change and trying to focus on energy consumption over the previous massive emergency that the establishment was trying to get us to focus on. And every single time they say like, oh, look at this massive emergency, obviously we have to pay attention to what the other hand is doing. What are they reaching for? What are they really trying to bring into the agenda? This bothers me. It's a red herring. The idea that cryptocurrency and mining is wasteful and we have to clean up the energy impacts of blockchains. By what measure? By what meaningful measure can you point to major metropolitan areas of this country and find that there are like mining operations that are causing power outages across, say like the lower Manhattan grid? No person in their right mind would go mining in lower Manhattan, New York. You'd be insane. Right? The cost of power is too high. The cost of rent is too high. You couldn't even afford to leave the miners sitting on a pallet in lower Manhattan, let alone run them with what Con Ed is charging out there. It's freaking insane. So I don't know who they're talking to, but clearly the whole thing, they're appealing to the people who would be politically aligned with that message in that same market, which is again where the insanity comes from. It's totally a straw man argument. There are no professional mining operations that operate in those markets. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, other blockchains that have a mining subsidy, they already self-select for the highest efficiency and lowest cost markets. Where are those? Well, if you want to talk about natural gas flaring, Texas, Wyoming, Montana, the northern states that are bordering Canada, where you've got some of these energy discovery, right? Energy exploration operations that are having a problem with natural gas flaring. They're literally burning energy into the air because it's easier for them to do and easier for them to contain than to somehow harness it and use it for any other useful purpose. That's where a lot of mining is headed now. And over the next couple of years, we're going to see a lot more of that happening, where it's not even just that the cost is low, but that they're actually creating a new cottage industry to capture energy that was previously literally being burned. The hydrocarbons, right? All of the lowest atomic unit of energy being produced was literally being burned into the atmosphere because they couldn't figure out what else to do with it. Seriously, we're going to talk about the energy impacts of blockchain. The whole thing, to begin with, the whole thing is theater. To begin with, the whole thing is framed to try to push an agenda and a narrative at the federal level that we need to focus, first off, on climate change. We need to refocus on climate change because the previous emergency didn't work to scare people. And we also need to characterize blockchain as now it's wasteful. It doesn't just threaten the US dollar. Thanks, Hillary Clinton. You're right, it does. And you should be afraid because you're a crook. You and your friends, you're all crooks. So you should be afraid of monetary policy being transparent. But yeah, so climate change and blockchain as a force for negative climate change. No, the whole thing is absolutely bogus. It's absolutely designed to push a narrative and an agenda that just puts more control into the hands of the federal government of the United States, allowing them to police blockchain policy and mining policy and Bitcoin custodianship internationally. That's the long game here, guys. And lest you think I'm crazy, go ahead and pick up a copy of the book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Phenomenal read, or you can listen to it. It's available on Audible. That's kind of my preferred. That's my go-to because I'm always stuck to a screen. But guys, newsflash, stuff like this, their development cycle for policy, not what we see here, but those who make plans within the various different subcommittees and branches of government that have their own subcommittees and their own contractors and subcontractors, guess what? They've got roadmaps and plans that far outdate whatever the current establishment is and whoever the current elected officials are. They far outlast the tenure of elected officials. In some cases, you'll see energy plans that are 20 years, or roadmaps for energy and for policy that are 20 years into the future or 30 years into the future. This has been the case for decades already. There were decisions made in the 1960s that had a roadmap that went through the 1980s and 1990s. and then so on. It's just a rolling plans, right? These rolling plans for public goods and public infrastructure. And I suspect, hear me out, I suspect the same is true for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I think that whoever the shadow group was that called themselves Satoshi, I think was potentially, I'm not going to say go full conspiracy here. I don't think they were definitely part of a broader group that was definitely tied to government, but I do think that they had that much of a long view. Here we are 12 years later, 12? For 14, oh my gosh, 13 years later, almost 14 years later from when the Bitcoin white paper was released, and it's been in production for over a decade. I mean, God willing, those of us who are going to live long enough will see Bitcoin grow all the way up to a 20-year-old. That's 2 decades. So they talk about stuff like this, and my first thought is, nah, this is a different agenda. You're on a very different agenda because you actually did not take part explicitly in the planning of Bitcoin. Because if you had, you wouldn't be so worried about this. But now you're trying to wrestle control out of the hands of the grassroots movement leaders. I'm very frustrated by that. It really bothers me. Anyway, but yeah, I love what some of these people had to say about it. I am going to give you more of a roundup later on. That was a bit of a long tangent as well. But then also, Russia FUD. Is Russia FUD the new China FUD? That's the big question of today's show. And I think, no, it's not even close. It's not even close. Russia FUD does not even register. China FUD actually, makes headlines, but Russia FUD? Nah, this is what we get. Bitcoin just says, nope, do not GAF. Go away, Russia. We don't care, man. So there's potentially going to be some kind of a ban in Russia on the mining, sale, or infrastructure of Bitcoin. I mean, good luck. Good luck. How have your other banning policies? How's your other, contraband policies? Have they worked out for you over the last, forever? Yeah, because communism, it's a failed experiment. Russia is more capitalist than it's ever been. And communism as previously practiced in Russia, during the Cold War and moving forward into the heavy espionage era, it's not what anybody thought it would be because it's crony leadership. It's crony communism. Crony communism and crony capitalism actually look very similar at the highest echelons, where you get people who are in positions of power because the fundamental nature of power doesn't change. As soon as people presume they have power, they abuse it. It's that simple. So yeah, you get a bunch of rich and privileged people in a communist country ripping everybody else off until they can no longer produce or work within the means of production, whether they're state owned or not, because they can't afford to, right? They have a problem. They've got a problem with just being able to feed themselves. So we keep seeing that as both a socialist and communist experiment continue to fail. So anyway, am I getting political? Yes, I am. Why? Because it affects policy. People who are in Russia who actually do work within this ban they've got to be crazy. You got to be absolutely bonkers to say, so Bitcoin is banned. Okay, I'm going to do what they say. I mean, so I read a comment from somebody who was ex-KGB, and they said, literally anytime there's a public announcement and they say, we think you should do this, they mean the exact opposite for themselves. So if anything, this is a warning shot for anybody living in Russia to go and amass as much Bitcoin as they possibly can, or any cryptocurrency they can get their hands on. Go and amass as much wealth in cryptocurrency as you possibly can. Is that legal, financial, or business advice? No, not within the confines of the United States. But if you're Russian and you're watching, maybe consider it. So guys, seriously, this is this for me is if anything, this is ultra bullish right now. Ultra bullish. It's even more so than China FUD. Don't worry about it. I really wouldn't worry about that at all. Again, the market literally went the opposite way, where it was so Russia just banned cryptocurrency. Awesome. Bitcoin pumps by $2,500. You love to see it. All right, guys, do me a solid. And if you are just lurking right now, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make it explode. Click the bell icon. If you're looking right now, hit the likes. I appreciate that, guys. That thumbs up. All the clicks, they count. They help so much in discovery on YouTube. All right. Drinking Milk says, yeah, happy with where we are in the market. Yes, right? It's not the worst thing. It's really not that bad. Drinking Milk also has a comment from before. Brilliant book, by the way, on Confessions of an Economic Hitman. I agree. What an eye-opener, guys. What an eye-opener that book was for me. That and... some other finance and policy books. We got to do some book reviews soon. I think that'd be a really worthy inclusion, really worthy sideline on this channel, just talking about books that I think would be helpful for people who are into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Guys, knowledge is power. Not just knowledge, but knowing where to find the best education. That's alpha, right? So to speak. If you really understand these markets and you start to gain conviction, when you gain that conviction, it helps you make decisions, right? So many people who are just hopping onto YouTube looking for the next quick, maybe 10x, maybe in this market, bunch of influencers who only understand token drops and NFT drops. They actually think that Bitcoin is the MySpace of crypto. Get out of here with that. Are you kidding? You kidding me? No, who can take themselves seriously talking like that? Is there wealth to be made? Yes, there is. Absolutely. There's quick money to be made. But if you lose sight of the long-term goal, you're lost. You're truly lost. All right. But that's, just hilarious. Hilarious that it became a counter indicator for the market. Take a look at some last bit of news here. 1inch is going to add support for Avalanche and Gnosis chain. This is a big deal because 1inch DEX is already a multi-chain aggregator. I'm actually going to pull this up live right now. Should be able to pull that up. All right, let's take a look here. Come on now, DeFi. There's 1inch DEX. I've already got it bookmarked. I highly recommend you do the same for yourself. You don't want to ever navigate to a decentralized exchange and not bookmark it. Why would I say that? Very easy to get lost, very easy to have problems, very easy to get phished, very easy to go to a bad site right now, especially when there are so many, there's so many. Double check to see what I got connected here. Yikes. All right. When there are so many different scammers out in the space right now, so many hackers that are working overtime to try to fleece you of your crypto holdings. So be safe. Bookmark any of the links to services you use on a regular basis. I know somebody personally who got phished from an exchange or from a wallet extension, because they thought, and this is somebody who I work with, somebody who works in cryptocurrency, they thought that they were talking to support, not from MetaMask, but from a competing plugin wallet, hot wallet that runs as a Chrome plugin. And I said, dude, you got to start using hardware to back any of these hot wallets. But we'll talk about that. Yeah, Corporal Crypto, he chimes in, guys, it can't be said enough. He says, don't let scam sites access your wallet. Check that URL. Yep, I agree. And bookmark it. Once you know you're in the right place, bookmark it. If you can use the IPFS version of these sites, bookmark that so that you know you're working directly with a blockchain-backed version of the site. So this is 1inch DEX, though, guys. Just want to show you really fast. They've got all kinds of support, right? Ethereum, Mainnet, BSC, Polygon, Optimism, Arbitrum. Now they're adding these other two, right? Avalanche and Gnosis. It's kind of a big deal. I think that multi-chain, when it comes to DeFi, multi-chain is going to be a reality for a lot of users. That you have to contend with multi-chain DEXs like this. Paraswap, Tokenlon, Mystex, CowSwap, Dodo, 0x. There's so many others that are in this multi-chain space, but 1inch DEX is pushing far higher volume than any of those. We'll see that when we take a look at some of our DeFi platforms in a future video. Not going to add that to today's live stream lineup, but just congratulations 1inch for adding additional support for new chains. I think it's a big deal. Anybody here in the chat, are you using these platforms, the Gnosis chain or Avalanche? If you are, let me know down in the comments, right? Or in the live chat right now while we live stream. Let me know what it is that you're using and if you're using these platforms specifically, guys. I'm not. I'm pretty much sticking with Ethereum, BSC, and Polygon. I'm very comfortable in these chains right now with the fee structure and just knowing how to use these tools. I know I got to get out of my comfort zone, so maybe I'll create some of that content for Avalanche and some other chains. But just saying, I'm very comfortable with those. So congrats, 1inch DEX. Here's Paraswap by comparison. They're just not doing as much. And they do have some support for Polygon, BSC, and Avalanche, just not as many additional chains. So we could see that that gap between 1inch DEX and Paraswap widen even more. Let's take a look at TX Street real fast. Go ahead and get ourselves some live market updates. Looks like as it is right now on Ethereum. Come on now, show us our fees. It doesn't want to show us our fees. Oh my gosh. Okay, it does. It's right there. So got 154 GWEI as the current median fee. The current median transfer fee is $17.3. That's a lot, man. That is so much. Wow, look at that. Huh. Oh, that's so cool. I love the way they have this set up, guys. It's just amazing. So, wow. Oh, that's awesome. So we can go with our, they just changed the UX again. They just keep on improving so much, guys. Median contract fee. Let's go ahead and drop that into our lineup there. Yeah, I'll let you do that. Just for you. Just for you, I'll do it. Okay, so we got a little more info right there. Median transfer fee just for Ether is $17.21, right? So 21 cents there. Some Goblin Loser says, I'm relatively new to the space, so everything here is outside my comfort zone. That's awesome, man. Love it. A lot of pending transactions, and then median contract fee over $100. Oh, ouch. $100 to send any other coins. All right, guys, that's TX Street. Thanks for giving us that update there, TX Street. Current TVL across all chains is putting Ethereum still at 60% market dominance for DeFi. I don't think this is a mistake, guys. We showed support for a while, but I've been telling you for a while, I think we're going to continue to lose support for Ethereum as the main DeFi chain over time. How long? Man, I don't know. For a while, we were losing a full basis point, right? A full percentage point every single week. It slowed down a bit. Maybe it'll take every 2 weeks roughly to lose a percentage point, or 3 weeks. Maybe we'll just see 1 percentage point per month. But I think that Ethereum is going to continue to lose that edge against the market steadily until Ethereum 2.0 not only launches, but is fully functional with all of the various sharding and other aspects that are supposed to help it scale. So beyond just being backed by proof of stake and still having EIP 1559 or the modified EIP 1559 or the modified fee burning schedule, it has to actually scale. They have to stop talking about scale. They have to actually scale in order for Ethereum to then stem the flow of value that's leaving Ethereum onto these other competing chains. But you tell me in the comment section, guys, what do you think? Do you think that Ethereum is just gonna maintain that lead forever? You think that they're going to be able to fight back with new products, new protocols being launched on Ethereum? Love to hear your take on it. But looking at the current lineup, it's Ethereum, then Terra Luna in the in number 2 spot with over $17 billion locked. BSC at 14, Avalanche now in the 4th place, Solana in 5th place. So Avalanche has displaced Solana, at least as of today. This might change tomorrow, guys. Not sure. Calarosa says BSC, Terra, and Poly will take the lead. I think you're probably right. Corporal Crypto saying, I'm using Anchor on Terra Station for the APY on UST. No competition on APY from the other L1s, from what I can find. As well as Drinking Milk saying, ETH 2.0 needs to show it will actually work. Yeah, right? We've been talking about it forever. EIP 1559 was a flop. It was a failure. Complete failure. Complete and utter failure. Everybody who defends it, I can't help but laugh. Really? Defending EIP 1559. It did none of what they claimed it was going to do. Miner extractable value, so to speak. Again, it's one of these framing things, one of these lenses that they want to put it through to make it seem as though miners are the problem. Miners are wasteful. Miners are greedy. Miners are creating all the issues across all of blockchain, and especially DeFi. I disagree completely. And the proof is in the pudding. It's just people are leaving to go to other chains because the fees remain too damn high. So, yeah. Moving back to my favorite way of sorting it, though, we can take a look at the protocol support as well. But let's round out the top 10. We got Phantom, Polygon, Tron, Kronos, and Arbitrum. Good to see Arbitrum putting up something of a fight. It's nearing that $2 billion value locked mark, but even still, Kronos at $2 billion puts it at less than half of what Tron has, so they've got quite a gap to make up there. However, we've seen in the past that can be made up with one protocol, the addition of just one protocol that has broad support. And in the case of new chains that are launching like Pulse Chain, we're going to see it basically top this list right next to Ethereum almost overnight, just based on the current not the fully diluted market cap of Hex, but the current presumed market cap or even corrected market cap of Hex, as it's been corrected over on Nomics. It's going to put it in a good shape here. But here's the thing. That's why I keep telling you that protocol support matters. Can you imagine if we just saw this like Pulse Chain launches and we see it like, boom, it displaces Terra. It's just below Ethereum. We're like, oh my gosh, Pulse Chain has dropped. It's so performant. How many transactions per second? Oh, it's got like $30 billion of value locked, but it's all Hex, right? Like, you see what I mean? Like, if it's $30 billion, it's all hex, and it's only hexagons that use it, then it's kind of like, yeah, nobody cares. Like, really? Nobody, like, hexagons care, of course. I don't need to be, like, calloused. But everybody else is going to be like, yeah, so what? Who cares? You've been toxic to us. You've totally acted like jerks to the rest of the crypto markets, telling all the rest of us that our projects are pointless, that we don't deserve to exist, that our coin is going to zero, and that we're led by idiots. Who's going to jump on board? We need to see that support, don't we? From protocol support on any of these chains. And newsflash, that's why I was able to easily tell months ago that Polygon was going to continue to grow and continue to raise in its own native coin value because of protocol support. We've been talking about it. Guys, no secrets on this show. I'm showing you straight up what my rationale is for the fundamental analysis that we do here. But turning it back around, we see that now it's Ethereum, BSC, and Polygon that are in the 1, 2, 3 spots. Avalanche is in the number 4 spot. Like, definitely kudos to Avalanche for putting in that work. Phantom, number 5 to round out that leaderboard there. And there's more than double the number of protocols that Arbitrum has right now. Solana, right behind Arbitrum. A lot of those are more heavily valued. Harmony is not doing bad. Chronos not doing bad. Huobi Echo Chain also not doing bad. And then kudos to Moonriver for actually getting broader support. There's just not enough value locked in there for it to look like it's significant yet for any of our other measurements here. But I'm going to stand by that, guys. I think that the number of protocols that are being supported are going to continue to make Polygon very dominant, including the Associated Press jumping on and saying they're going to build an NFT platform for licensing AP photos and AP media on Polygon. They didn't say Avalanche. They didn't say Phantom. They definitely didn't say BSC. But guess what? There's no chance at this point that they're going to try to build natively on Ethereum. They've just seen what the gas fees are, and it makes zero sense for the microtransactions of licensing, say, like a photo or a video from the Associated Press. Who's going to pay $100 on top of the $50 licensing fee for a photo or for a video from the Associated Press? Yeah, nobody, obviously. You're definitely not going to do it so you can hang it next to your Bored Ape, right? Your Bored Ape Yacht Club over on OpenSea, right on the Ethereum L1 chain. It's crazy. Guys, we need that function. We need that decreased cost, and we need it now. All right. So let's see. Kyle Rosa says, why invest in an unfinished project versus finish BTC? Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Bitcoin is not finished. It's not finished by a long shot. In fact, Satoshi left before it was finished. Satoshi even talked very openly about the problems that needed to be finished. And Hal Finney, right? Rest his soul. Hal Finney talked very openly about how Bitcoin needed to add privacy and how Bitcoin needed to offer more anonymity for its users. There are problems with Bitcoin. It is not perfect, but what it does do, it does very well. And for that reason, I'm a huge fan. In the same way that, like, you can't make like gold your identity. That's insane. Right? Like, what is gold? It's just a means to an end. It's just a store of value. That's it. So I don't want to make Bitcoin my identity, right? And, oh, I'm going to live and die by this. I am a Bitcoin maxi. It's like those stupid old commercials for Apple, right? I'm a Mac. I'm a PC. It's like, no, you're both paid actors. We're playing a role for a commercial that's designed to sell junk. When those ads ran, none of those computers are still supported by Apple, by the way. So, ugh. Anyway, guys, you got me in full-on rant mode. Here we go. Back into the content. DeFi Llama is showing us, though, that Ethereum is losing that edge. And I maintain that that's going to continue to happen. Here we are back in June 28th of 2021, only halfway through last year, and it was at 73% market dominance. Fast forward today, effing wrecked by comparison. I mean, yes, a bigger chunk was taken out of it previously. Let's, come here. It was dropped all the way down to 65% back in May of last year, and then it recovered a bit. But here we are again. Guys, if it is cyclical, I think we're going to continue to see lower lows for its market dominance into the future. Drinking Milk says, standards and adoption matter. Yes, standards and adoption do matter. There are 3 wallet address standards for Bitcoin, and I think it's safe to presume that there may be more in the future. However, what Bitcoin does well by way of adoption is make sure that all those standards are backwards compatible. That's a big deal. it can't just be a hard fork all the time into the future. So to your point, yeah. So thinking about standards in a way that doesn't prevent future adoption and doesn't preclude previous participants from easily getting up to speed as it's more broadly adopted. That's a big deal. And I know that's why these larger projects have a harder time moving fast, like nimbly. And that's part of why Ethereum is taking so long to deliver ETH 2.0. But good grief. I mean, 2017 was called a late delivery of proof of stake for Ethereum. It's been 5 years, bro. 5 years. Nemesis is in the chat, says, yo, what's up? Hey, appreciate that, man. Good to see you here, Nemesis. Always love seeing Nemesis in the chat. We're talking, we've got some maxi talk going, man. I'm ranting about Bitcoin a lot. But we're talking about some other protocols as well, guys. Here's the other thing. I don't think that, so as has been mentioned throughout the show, I don't think that it's okay for us to just be complacent and say like, well, this one thing is done. No, it's not done. A lot of work that still needs to be put in over time. And there are Bitcoin developers who've left because they didn't feel like they were rewarded enough, or it was really difficult being a very public person and having everybody give them like terrible feedback on their choices, right? Their design choices for the Bitcoin core code and for these new like wallet standards and stuff. I mean, BIP 84 was not even a thing a few years ago. Here it is becoming an absolute necessity. BIP 85, if you don't know what it is, guys, these are relating to wallet standards. And I've talked directly to Bitcoin core developers on this stuff. And it's exciting, but man, it throws a lot of people. It's a very deep tech stack that goes into Bitcoin. And so I don't get upset at these other projects that are saying like, we want to try to do something that adds value beyond what Bitcoin does. But yeah, nah, man, you guys are not going to get me to talk bad about Bitcoin ever. All right, moving on to what to mine. Let's just jump into the GPU tab. I think we need to cut to the chase here. What are we seeing with current price to mine Ethereum? Looks like at 14 cents per kilowatt hour, which has been the standard for the show for a while, we're looking at only $4.41 for the RTX 3090. Hey, anybody getting any deals on RTX 3090s lately? That's what I thought. Me neither. So you've heard me say it for months, guys. I'm not ever going to tell people like, you know what you should really do? You should really go buy some GPUs based on my links down below in the middle of a bull run. Come on. Yeah, don't go buying off Amazon right now, certainly. Toncoin, there it is, Toncoin. It's topping the charts for profitability. The secret's out. You've been seeing it from other people's channels. They're so excited about Toncoin. Hello, Toncoin. Ton.org. We're going to take a look at you in just a minute here. We might actually add this to the portfolio because I think you may be different from the, there it is. It is not the tokamak network. This is something else. Or is it? Good grief. Nope, this is very different. The tokamak network is something else. So yeah, I've had the wrong thing. I've had the wrong thing in my portfolio, but we're going to correct that on this this time around. Alrighty, guys. But clearly it is, I mean, am I going to call it a flash in the pan? Obviously I can't do that, but I'm not convinced that Toncoin is going to be the coin that we're talking about 6 months from now, in the same way that I was not convinced that we'd be talking about Equilibria long after its kind of rise into GPU mining profitability. Just be aware. I think you might have to, just to protect your neck, you might have to be looking at the way that you can off-ramp some of these mining proceeds so that you're not stuck holding a bag 6 months from now. Just saying. So the A5000 in number 2 spot, just below $4 in profit based on that cost basis for power. Biggest losers in the GPU mining lineup, still the R9 380. There's some people out there that have got free power. If that describes your situation, awesome. If you don't have free power, hey, consider donating it to some group out of like whatever, Brazil or Venezuela that does get free power. Definitely like that. Chump Change is in the chat, dropping knowledge, says ton, vomit emoji. Dry heaving. Gotta get a soundboard with that. You know the lady from TikTok whose husband is always tricking her into like gagging? Got a really strong gag. I gotta add that to soundboard. Good stuff. But I agree with you, right? Where it's like, oh, awesome, another coin that like came out of nowhere, but it's like super profitable. Oh, you don't understand. It's so profitable. You should get GPUs just based on this one coin. Right. Good luck with that. Jump Change says, smash that like. Appreciate it. And he said it just like that too. He was over like at work, and he found a little corner to be like, smash that like. It was awesome. You should have been there. All right, so guys, biggest loser though, still that R9 380. The GTX 1050 Ti, it's in the money, but not by much. Great thing about it, I mean, you guys are going to hear me talk about it until it's completely dead and gone, but such a cool card in that it's just bus powered. There are very few cards like that. They're 80 watts at Argon too. But let's take a look as we go back up the list at some of the mining profitability suspects. We've got Ethereum Classic. We've got Ethereum, of course. We've got Zero, Flux, Nimic, Beam. Ergo is still on the list for Polaris cards, it looks like. At least the 4 gig cards. And Flux is on the list for the 1660s, as well as the 1070, the older 1070. Toncoin, though, starts to dominate this list as you go above 8 gig cards. I mean, it's starting with that 5500 XT. Nemesis says the 6500 XT is worse than the 1050 Ti. Haha. Awesome, man. Let's see. Chump Change says God of War looks good, man. Popped in for a minute last night. So chatting it up with Nemesis. Guys, so great to see the community here. You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm excited by God of War 2. From what I understand, there's supposed to be really good Linux gaming support, which actually has me... I don't buy AAA titles when they first launch, guys. I don't buy $60 video games. I don't know. I'm a cheapskate, whatever. I've got kids. Like, you know, that and like I like delayed gratification for my kids, right? Where they're like, oh, you dad gotta get us this brand new game. And I'm like, nah, man, deal with it. Like, seriously, throw some character. Like, run outside in the snow, do some push-ups, get back to me. Are you bored now? No. All right. Let's move on. Anyway, just saying, I am possibly going to get God of War, though. Just because of the Linux support, right? Where they're like, yeah, no, the this technology called Proton that helps you with Wine or with emulation on Linux, might be able to play it on Linux. So I'm tempted. I'm so tempted. Chump Change says, love this background, by the way, way better. Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. These panels are actually super cheap. I'll share them in the creator chat. But it's funny. They're super cheap, but they really do class to join up. I appreciate that you noticed. Thanks. All right, moving on to our current profitability, though, guys. Some other coins that look like they're on the list. That's pretty much it. Usual suspects, except for... Did I miss any? Nah, Flux, Toncoin, Nimic is actually... It's a little more profitable than I thought on some of the higher spec cards. Clearly, just based on the short breakdown here. That's it, guys. Toncoin we're going to take a look at. We are going to add that to our portfolio later on. But I wanted to show you this tool, and this is linked down in the description of this video, but this is the Brains, the full profitability planning, right? So Bitcoin mining profitability calculator. We're not going to cover this in depth, but I just want you to be aware of it if you are into ASIC mining. I know Bitsby Trippin has been moving towards ASIC mining. He's added, I guess, something like 130 ASIC miners, S19Js or S19 Pros to his fleet. So he has not extended his GPU fleet as much as his Bitcoin ASIC fleet. Why would he do that, right? Why would an OG like Bitsby Trippin do that? Well, who has a full warehouse and, you know, a full like farm for mining? Well, I think you and I both know it's because during those lean times, he's trying to stack as much Bitcoin as possible, and he's got the capital to be able to float the CapEx over the OpEx over that time. So probably going to be paying bills with fiat during that time so he can stack more Bitcoin. I just respect the heck out of what he's doing there, but you can use tools like this to be able to plan out some of your purchases. They can't tell you about black swan events. They can't tell you about bear markets, but they can tell you a little bit about trends, right? As your revenue decreases and as your hardware value decreases, you can play with some of the options here as well, including your pool fees, the block subsidy if you want to plan as far out as the next halving, or if you need to plan out as far as the next halving, cost for electricity, power consumption, and the overall hash rate and difficulty based on what it is that you're going to be mining for. But then also the Bitcoin price. If you need to just say like, oh, doomsday scenario, what if Bitcoin goes to 25K in the near term? You can map that out as well. Right? It's really not that difficult to map that out using a tool like this. And then you can download the CSV and you can synthesize 2 different data sets as well if you need to do a pivot table report. I'm making it sound trivial. It's not trivial, guys, but you can use tools like this and it's possible. It makes it a lot easier than trying to do all the math by yourself. So wanted to cover that. I think it's really useful for us. Let's take a look at our portfolios, dudes. T-Bone Gaming says, I want them. My ASICs are great doorstops. Oh, no. Yeah, I thought you had a great Litecoin ASIC before. That's a bummer, man. All right, so Corporal Crypto says, definitely need to get that soundboard. Would be very entertaining. Hey, appreciate that, man. Nemesis apparently is playing God of War already and playing it in 2K. That's awesome. So what do you mean exactly, Nemesis? Are you playing it in 1440p, or do you have some like off-brand resolution that you're playing in? Also, you're getting good refresh rates. That's always the big question, right? So let's look at our GPU mining profitability or GPU mining portfolio. And it looks like Flux is still in the lead, but our profit margin is not quite as high. If you weren't taking profits before, I feel bad, because $1,000 before would have made up the difference, right? The delta right now. You could have taken your initial back out or double your initial back out, and you wouldn't have lost that amount. You would have realized gains in the amount that we just lost from the value of this portfolio here in this paper trade. So just throwing that out there, guys. It's okay to take profits. When things are really nice, it's okay. It is. And you don't need to beat yourself up over like, oh, maybe there's more upside. Well, just don't sell everything. Don't be all in or all out, though. That's what I'm saying. Just determine for yourself what makes sense. Nothing else comes even close to Flux right now in terms of our GPU mining profits. Biggest loser, however, is still Haven. Haven's way down. I don't know if it's suppressed. I don't think that's the case. I think that they've had their additional difficulty for a third time. Maybe they stay down at this point, guys. It makes me really sad to say it. They had a beautiful vision of very private assets that use the privacy model of Monero, but then have almost like like Synthetics does. That protocol has an algorithmic stable peg to the US dollar, the euro, gold, and Bitcoin, as well as other things, I think, for Haven. So yeah, I feel really bad to see them not doing very well, but there's only so much you can do, guys. There's only so much you can do when it comes to keeping tech like this afloat if you don't have developer talent that's definitely sticking with the project. BitTube, though, is a bigger loser in our portfolio, but then also it's got an extremely low market cap. Hey, Nemesis is telling us about the specs for his gaming: 1440p at 165 hertz, 1 millisecond response time, full HDR on an RTX 3080 Ti on a custom water loop. Guys, that is a proper gaming rig. That's awesome. So back up the list, guys. Zano is middle of the road right there. We got a lot of coins that are not in the profit, but it starts with Raven coin at 8.8 cents. Good for you if you're holding on to Raven coin. If you still have belief in the roadmap, that's awesome. Heaven help you, because I don't know what else will. I don't know what it's going to take for it to also recover. I think I've said it before on the live stream. Won't belabor the point, though. I think Flux is showing its fundamental strength right now. Alrighty, come on now. Let's go over to our hard drive mining portfolio. Show us the money. Oh, you know what, though? I need to go back to GPU mining portfolio. And why don't we go and just stick right here for a while, guys? I'm going to cut things short after we go through this. And yeah, I actually need to call it a day. Oof. Sorry to cut things short, guys. I need to limit myself to 1 hour today. I've got some stuff to catch up on with work. There will be, well, I don't want to like jump the gun. Hey there. Camera's going out of focus. But yeah. So guys, I do want to get back into a regular cadence for the live stream. Let me know what time works best for you. If you want me to continue doing this maybe 3 times a week, I don't want to do it every single day. I was doing that for a little while. I'd rather do some post-produced content, some value-added stuff like how and why you should use hardware wallets. I know it sounds crazy, but a friend just got ripped off. I mentioned it, just got ripped off through a bad phishing attack. Just hardware wallets do help with that. You've heard me be critical of them in the past, but they're an essential piece of security gear for people who are into cryptocurrencies. And I have my favorites for a reason. And I'd love to show you exactly why that is, because I use them on a regular basis, guys. Very regular basis. Appreciate you guys tuning in almost all the way to the end of the video. Let me quickly give you an overview of the GPU markets. I am going to add the ton coin. I thought it was, there we go. I thought it was the tokamak network, but it's not. It's the ton token. That's now added to the portfolio. I'm going to go ahead and put an entry into this. I know it's a cliffhanger, guys. Come back for part 2. See how it ends. The saga of Toncoin. But I'm going to add that to the portfolio after I finish up here. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you are not subscribed, obviously make sure you're subscribed. Also, we are starting up the newsletter over on mineyourbiz. Please do subscribe to that. It does help me communicate things to you there that I actually can't say publicly on a platform like YouTube, just because they've got really restrictive speech policies. So it would mean a lot if you do sign up there. Also, the Mind Your Biz phone. These things are starting to move. They're really starting to move. So yeah, more on that as well. All right, guys, you know I love your face. Remember to stay private. Mind your biz. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Be sure to check out mineyour.biz, where you can sign up for our email newsletter, where we're still ramping up content, but you will occasionally receive specials for flash sales and all kinds of other deals that we have going on the site. You can also check out our services page, where we offer consulting to projects that need it. You can pick up the Freedom Phone, which respects your privacy. You can pay for it in crypto and have it shipped to you anonymously, as well as getting merchandise that also is paid for with crypto. That's right, we practice what we preach, including, well, a Flux swag page. That's right. It's a dedicated page just for the team over at Flux Network, because we love them that much. Thanks for watching to the end. Thanks for being subscribed. You know I love your face. Be sure to stay private and mind your biz.